Hello, welcome to a new video where we look at my demo track I've written for the new sound library Materials, Metals and Ice. Perhaps you've heard it in my review, but now we have a look at this track, and before this we just listen to it. So this is the track, and greets to Michael, because he asked me, Tim, perhaps you can show how you did it and why you did it, and you can get it into details because you can download this Cubase file for free. So it's a Nuendo file, but you can load it into Cubase. It works very well. So how did I things and why, and how did I start? So the first thing was the concept, just using this great library Materials. So this is not the review, but this is how the library looks like. Here we've got 4 different materials or 4 slots. You can load in sounds or different sources, manipulate them. Here we've got different possibilities to edit the sound, can add some effects and so on. And I just wanted to use this library, nothing else. You know, there are some demos that got 2 versions, naked and dressed. And you hear the dressed version and think, well, that sounds great, because you hear sounds of this library and you hear other sounds. And sometimes this dressed version sounds amazing. And then you hear the naked version and there are less sounds, and you think, well, this demo doesn't sound amazing because of this one library. It sounds amazing because of all the other sounds. So I always try to use just this one library. It's not easy every time. Here it worked very well. So this has been the concept. And how did I start? I just loaded in every preset and played it and tried how it inspires me. And the second thing was just to create my own sounds, and I can show you what kind of sounds I created. And this has been a sound that inspired me. I just press one key. And we can see that we've got an arpeggiator going on. And I didn't play one key, I played chords. And you hear it doesn't work at every chord, so I had to be careful. This is how it sounds like now. The second sound is called bell up, and I play it for you. I love it. And this is a sound I created on my own. Here we've got 3 different materials. You can see the second is deactivated and they sound very similar. So here's the first one. And let's play a chord. The second one. And the third. The fourth. Okay, so let's say 1, 2, 3. Okay, so they sound very similar and they all use at motion the up, but every time at different settings. The first material uses down, up, 2. This means the direction going down and up, and 2, that it plays the first and last note again. Now, let's check the next sound, the Celeste. And you see this is up and down, not down, up. It's going up and down, and just version 1. So the first and last note are not played twice. And now we get to the last material. And here we've got the mode random. But here I activated the 2 octaves. Let's do this. This is how it sounds originally. So the danger can be very high that a few notes are repeated a few times, and this can sound boring. So I tried setting the octave from 0 to 1. That's not been enough, so I set it to 2 octaves. Yeah, that's better. And this sound has been edited at the envelope for the amp. I put the attack to nearly the half. This is how the sound sounded at the original. And you can hear the hammer, and this is not soft. I didn't like it. So I wanted to reduce the sound and soften it. And I set the release higher than at the original, so this can be very plucky. And now all 3 sounds together. I love it. So beautiful. I guess I will use this sounds several times in other productions, and for this it's worth for using this library. And this sound fades in just a little bit. So let's see it here. Here you can see the fade in. And another sound here is the melody, this one. And when I load in the presets and play around, sometimes they inspire me for playing something. And at first, this melody sounded like this. And then I tried both things together. And at the second chord, it didn't work for me. So I thought, okay, let's re-edit it. And then it sounded like this. So I didn't want to have too much polyrhythmic going on, and there is another part that's doing a kind of polyrhythmic. So we'll hear it now. This is the square up, I call it. So perhaps you saw moving this fader. This fader is the release, and the sound is going longer and longer and longer, and then it suddenly goes down at this part. And how did I do this? Just a right click here and then learn to see moving a fader at my controller. That's it. And this sound has been filtered a little bit with the Simplon. I use the Simplon here instead of this. I could have been using the filter in this plugin just for a more easy use. I decided to use the Simplon. So you can see and hear it here. Yeah, and this is a little bit, I wouldn't say polyrhythmic, but these are 6 notes and not 4, so it keeps shifting the accents a little bit. Let's turn on the click. So this can be very interesting when we hear the melody, the chords, and the square up, all 3 parts together. So let's go to the beginning. How does the track start? I didn't want to start with the melody. I wanted to introduce the song and having some dramatic. So this sound starts. Yeah, and here you can see all the keys. So we got and all played by hand and no up. You can see I didn't quantize it, just played it 3, so it's more living because it's not accurate. And Here I wanted to add 1 octave higher. Now it's fading in. And then I wanted to add 1 octave higher more. At first it didn't work, but then I took materials. As you can see, here we've got 3 different materials. And I just took at the control tab the pitch control and moved it 1 octave higher. And voila, I had the result I wanted. So we've got the original, 1 more octave and 1 more octave. So we have a little crescendo and build up for this hit here coming. And we got more here. We've got a deep sound I control with the mod wheel. Just a little bit modulation of the cutoff frequency. And a little drone here. Normally it sounds like this. And here we've got the attack. And I wanted to have a fade in, so push the attack high. And here we've got multiple sounds, and I wanted to filter them very easily. So I've used the dual filter by Sternberg. So now it's more a background drone. This is the beginning. Okay, and we have a small high snippet, this one. And in the particles, there is a beautiful release sound. So I just recorded it with render in place. Just did a few editings here. Created a fade in, added the Echo Boy by Sound Toys and Valhalla Room. And this is how it sounds now. And then it comes later, just 1 octave higher. And here is the piano bass. This has been a preset, but there have been activated all 4 materials. And at first I deactivated the modular children. And the iced feedback. And here is the typewriter. Without the typewriter, you're missing the attack and the character. And I duplicated this track. And here we've got the piano without the typewriter. And this is my piano bass. So these are the two pianos. Here is another sound, just coming 2 times. This is brass Mayhem. I used the pitch bender and it's coming a second time here. Just created a wave file with random plays to know that every time it sounds the same. And here is another short melody just coming 1 time. That's the beginning. So let's hear from this part. Let's go from the beginning. Okay, then this part repeats and there are coming more sounds. We had the piano bass and we've got another bass, this one. Here it's not really deep, but at the second part. And now let's add the piano bass, so we got 2 basses. And we've got some percussion going on here. Here we've got the hi-hat. And you can see I just played 1 key because here is an arpeggiator going on, but there are some accents. And normally the hi-hat sounds like this. Kind of boring. So let's see what I did at the arpeggiator. We go to motion and here is the arp. Let's have a look at speed. So I wanted to control this one with a CC fader. Just right click, learn CC, move the fader, and that's it. And you can see the modulation here. And you can see I didn't do it the same way. Here at the first bar, it's at the end. And at the second bar, it's before the end and it's longer. And I could draw this one and choose another tempo, so you can do more things than here. And there is another percussion loop going on, this one. Yeah, and at the hi-hat, I wanted to remove some lower frequencies. So I used the high pass filter just to hear the high frequencies. Okay, now let's go to this sound. The pad. Oh, I didn't write it very well. Should have named pad shaper. Okay, this is how it sounds like. And let's take away the plugins. First, it sounds like this. Then I added Soothe because at the lower end there have some bad frequencies. And I added the shaper box. I could have done it inside the plugin here, but then I should have done it at every material. So this has been the faster way. And I could control the cutoff frequency with the mod wheel. Yeah, so here we've got the melody, and then I add 2 more sounds to this melody. So this is the melody. And then I add this bass piano. And the aerial Celeste. Okay, so let's hear how it sounds when we first start with the particles and then add the 2 other sounds. And at the end, we've got 2 more sounds coming, just playing, I guess, 3 or 4, 4 notes, that's all. Brass grain and ice atmo. The last few keys get more accents before the end. Because I've been asked very often, how do you do the mastering? Let's have a look at my mastering chain. It changes every time at every project. Let's start with the last plugin. That's the Uad Precision Limiter, and it rises up the volume to nearly 11 dB. It's not for limiting, it's more for rising up the volume. And let's move it to the control room. So when I bypass all the plugins, it's not getting louder. So, you know, louder is always better. So let's bypass all the plugins. And here, this part in circle. And let's see what I did. So the first plugin is the Galfos. And I didn't do so many things. Recover 12%, tame 5%, brighten just 6%. And let's listen to it. So there is not very much going on. I just want to have the mix cleared a little bit up. The next plugin is the Clariphonic by Kush Audio, I guess the name is. So let's hear without the plugin and then turn it on. So clarity is not rise up a lot, but it's doing a lot, I guess. And here I've chosen presents and a little bit focus. So you got to be very careful with these knobs. Next is the Universal Audio Studio A800, and I use it for adding a little bit bass. And at last we got Ozone 8, but you can see here's just one module going on, just the equalizer, no dynamics, no dynamic EQ, no maximizer. Instead of this maximizer, I used the Uad Precision Limiter, and there's not much going on. You see, I reduced the low mids, I boosted a little bit the high frequencies, just a little bit, and that's all. So let's turn it on and off. Okay, and now let's turn on and off all the plugins, all these 4 plugins. So that's been my walkthrough. When you like this video, I would be very happy about a thumb up. And when you got some questions or suggestions, just leave a comment. See you on the next time. Bye.